Hi, it's me, Aspen.
Michael.
Nova.
And Evie.
And our podcast today is Y2K music.
Sorry. Grandpa's over here with allergies.
Yeah, Grandpa has allergies right now. Anyways, this is kind of, I don't know, I'm really excited for this episode just because I love Y2K music and I love the Y2K aesthetic and everything. So, feel like just get started. Anybody want to go first or?
You got that. That's
Okay.
Yeah, you go
started
first.
This is your thing, girl.
Okay, so I think my favorite,
Stop leaning on the HDMI cable.
what cable?
Keep going.
So I think my favorite 2000s artist that era would be Tupac. I grew up with rap music and I grew up with listening to Tupac and Biggie and Snoop Dogg.
Okay, quick tangent here. We're covering music from 95 to 2005 because it's a quick tangent. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tupac
we-
did not make it to see Y2K.
Who?
I don't think did Tupac make it to see Y2K?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I don't think we're actually following that because Victorious Music is on here. So I don't think we're
Okay,
actually following
I
it.
didn't know to what extent, I didn't know what year we stopped with that.
95 to 05.
Okay, I get
Wait,
that
what?
now.
Yeah,
But
and I
I'm
said
pretty
when I
sure-
tried to put somebody, what did I try to put on the playlist? And she was like, I tried to put Kesha on the playlist, and she was like,
I
"You said
shouldn't
no to
say
Kesha."
that. That was not me.
That was one of you guys. Yeah, it was one of you guys.
I don't remember
Do you
ever
not
saying
remember
no
that?
to Kesha.
I am.
Okay,
I don't
Kesha.
recall.
I'm taking sides
I
today.
love Kesha.
Wait, when is Kesha?
Kesha's 2007, 2008, to early 2010s probably.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Victorious was 2010. I guess I thought it was earlier than
Thought it
that.
was earlier than that.
Yeah.
Her
I
first
don't know.
her first album Animal came out in
Bless you.
2009.
Oh.
So, but
No.
she's
Okay,
Must
we
be.
don't have to talk about Victorious. Sorry.
It's
My bad.
I feel like it's also important to say I think I was probably born the latest out of everybody here. I was born in 2009, so
Oh my gosh.
this was way before. And you were
Youngin.
born in 2007.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And Michael Grandpa was born in 2007. So,
me as well. That's crazy. 2009.
Yeah, I really like that era of rap music with Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Biggie, Tupac, East Coast versus West Coast. That's really when I feel like rap music was at its prime. So that's kind of what I like to listen to from that era.
I like Nelly too much. As yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think dude, that 2000 was just very interesting. The late 90s and early 2000s was a very interesting time. Really,
Yeah.
because towards the end of it, then you get into the Iraq War, and then it's a very tumultuous period in American history. The music reflects that. 'Cause it's very varied, and
Yeah.
you have boy bands, and then
Mm-hmm.
Tupac.
Yeah.
And the girlies, very,
Yeah, the girlies.
they popped off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You're
okay.
next.
Okay. Speaking of the girlies, No Doubt with Gwen Stefani, I'm pretty sure, and the album Tragic Kingdom, which came out in 1995. As I was born in 2008, and as a wee little child with very emo parents, and
A wee little child with very emo parents. I would like to get that framed somewhere.
yeah. Okay. So both my parents grew up in the 90s and graduated in 2000s, so they were both very active in the music scene, and my first ever CD was this album, and I can probably recite every single lyric on it because I would listen to it nonstop. So that is my favorite, technically Y2K album. Another one, Enema of the State by Blink-182, which came out in 1999. Again,
I saw this
probably
on
my
your
favorite
earbuds
song.
today. You were listening to a song off of your earbuds.
Yeah.
The album cover.
Yeah, those are my top two albums right now. And then my third one, Americana by The Offspring, which came out in 1998. Again, classic pop punk album that is its masterpiece front to back. But then you also have to consider the girlies Gwen Stefani, Christina Aguilera, Lindsay Lohan, kind of. They're some kind of music. Britney Spears.
It's noise.
And then Limp Bizkit. I love Limp Bizkit. That is number one right now.
Limp Bizkit number one right now.
I love Limp Bizkit. You gotta listen to it knowing that it sucks.
Okay, I could see, yes.
One of those days.
You have to accept
You have to accept that it's
what you're
terrible.
about to,
Yeah.
the experience you're about to undergo is going to be.
It's like when you eat McDonald's, like you know what you're getting yourself into, and you know it's not the best, but you go for it
You're
anyways.
still gonna enjoy it.
Also,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even McDonald's because Limp Bizkit's just really weird.
Yeah, true.
Also, to mention Creed, Nickelback, Korn, and Slipknot. That,
Just to mention.
Just
to mention.
Just to
My
graze
favorite
upon.
current
Yeah.
artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far I agree with everything. I'm not very deep into this type of music, but I did grow up with like my mom listening to like Pink, so I can just like
That makes total sense.
yeah,
That makes a lot of
it just yeah. So I can just think about like in the car, and my mom's just listening to Pink, like the CDs though, because CDs were really heavy
Huge,
then.
Oh my gosh.
Britney Spears, we love Britney Spears. Let's see what else. Eminem. I grew up with my dad listening to Eminem.
Why is the thong song on this list?
I didn't add it.
Oh.
Sorry, that was me.
Fergie as well. Glamorous. That's a good
Fergalicious.
song. Fergalicious, yes.
Black Eyed Peas.
Oh,
Oh.
yes. Lots of Britney Spears from this era. Just because it's a vibe.
I want to say it so much.
I know. I want to say it
I
so
want
bad.
to say it. I want to say it.
And then, of course, like Teenage Dirtbag and Scotty Doesn't Know. Good songs. What
Oh
do you?
my gosh.
What are you wanting to say?
I forgot about that.
I was gonna say, okay, tangent. Were your family like MP3 player or CD family?
Ooh,
CD.
CDs.
We didn't have an MP3 player.
I
I
had
didn't
an
know
MP3
what, I didn't find out
player.
what an MP3 player was until I was like in high school.
I
And
had a
didn't
little purple one, and when I learned how to ride my bike, I put headphones in it, and I drove my little bike around and listened to like Taylor Swift. I was like, I'm a baddie, you know, just sitting here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we had CDs.
My parents
mind
were-
you, I was a kid. Not this isn't
We're also a
recent.
very technological family, so
Oh.
we had TVs and everything, and like
Yeah.
we had the
Did
Vivo.
you have a
Music
TV
app.
in your room as a kid?
Oh,
Yes.
ooh.
No, I actually.
Yes.
Oh yeah, my
We had-
parents didn't let me.
We had a Vivo. We have the Vivo Music app, which is really important. We have to talk about that. The Vivo Music.
Also,
Vivo.
oh wait, what is it? Music. It's like
LimeWire.
no, it's. I swear, I know what it is. It's like
There used to
this
be
music channel on
Yeah,
the cable.
There
like-
was yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Yes,
that's what I
the
Not
was.
not
music
MTV, but like
No, it was like it would play. There was different channels
Yes.
and there was different genres of music.
Y2K.
There was a bunch of
There's
different
literally
ones.
a Y2K.
Yes, and we
Yeah.
would listen. We would put those on the TV when we were like cleaning the house or
Yes.
stuff like that because you didn't want to like.
It had like
you
a
didn't have
music choice. Music
music choice. Yes,
Choice.
and there
I
was
grew up
all
with
these.
that.
There was all these different channels,
No,
and that's so.
we
Oh my
had,
gosh.
Like the Vivo app, so we would play Vivo, and we didn't mention this, but Beyonce was.
Oh yes,
huge
she
in my
was.
house.
Yes, she was big.
Destiny's Child,
Mhm.
Beyonce. I knew all of the choreography to Crazy in Love
Oh.
at the age of 6.
Didn't Vivo have like the music videos like and
Yes,
stuff
they had
like
all
that?
the
Yeah.
videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
My family was. We had one of them. I remember my dad bought one of them big old Bose speakers, and he put it on top. He had this cabinet was all my mom and dad's wedding stuff in the corner.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And he put it on top of that thing, and that thing would rattle the house.
Yes.
And it was, we always used to either radio or they had aux for it.
Yeah,
They had
we-
little aux cords, plug it in.
We had a radio that was like above the like the fridge, and then we had the TV with those music channels on it, and they always had like the little like music facts on the side, and they would
Yes.
always switch too fast for my little brain to be able to read
Yes.
it, and it would make me so mad, and I would sit there and I'd read all the other ones, and I'd have to wait for them to like come back
back.
again so I could read them, and then by the time it was like about to show up, the song would end. And I feel like kids these days just don't even have any idea like stuff like that. They just skip YouTube ads or get Spotify Premium.
I have Spotify
Yeah.
Premium, but
I do
growing
too.
up, my parents worked a lot. So
We
I was,
earned it.
So I lived with my grandparents like 3 or 4 days a week. So I would always be playing Just Dance or listening to like, Music Choice Channel.
Yes.
Just Dance came out in 2009, a little bit late for this era, but I feel like it's notable. But my parents were cassette people. Like we had like shelves of cassettes, shelves of CDs, and shelves of vinyls. Like I never had an MP3 player unless I was at my grandparents because
We-
they had one.
Yeah, we had. My dad is also a really big car person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I was like younger, I didn't really necessarily grow up with my dad, but I do remember when like I like was with my dad.
Mhm.
like he had like speakers in the back
Oh yeah,
that he had got put into the car.
rattling
And
the windows.
the car was rattling, the music was turned all the way up, and I can just remember my 5-year-old body be sitting,
Yeah, like
in the
ascending.
car, like with
Your little
Tupac
like
and Biggie.
McDonald's and High C orange just flashing around. Yeah.
Specifically, oh my gosh, specifically Big Papa playing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This
And
is
I
a
just
universal
I can
experience.
remember me and
Yes.
all my siblings.
We had no
being in the
business
car.
singing
And
that
I
and
was
knowing all the words
and
to
I
that
was-
as
I've always been
children.
the littlest. Like I've always
Yes.
been the littlest out of my whole entire family, so I can remember just being like sitting on my big brother's lap.
Yeah.
And like me like trying to fall asleep because it's like one. I'm, like,
Yeah.
This like
Yeah,
literally
that song
shaking
is such
back
a
and
universal like dad.
Yes, it's
just
such a dad
It's just
song.
a dad song. Every dad ever, I fear, like.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
you got any kind of food in them seats,
Yes, that's what I
Oh,
was saying.
we weren't allowed to eat.
Yes.
We weren't allowed to eat.
any
We weren't
kind
allowed
of,
to eat in the
if
cars.
you kicked it, if you put your head against it,
Yeah.
my dad put leather conditioner on his, and if you knew, there'd be like a face print. It was bad.
Yeah, trying to fall asleep with the windows rattling and all that, and the music's loud, and I don't know why that was the best sleep of my life.
It
and
was
then
the
you'd,
best
Then
sleep.
you'd wake
Then
up
you
with
wake
a
up.
sore neck, and then you would
You
make
like
that
that.
one turn,
Mhm.
and you knew that you were like home, but you'd want them to carry you in instead.
My dad would look back and he'd say, "Watch this," and he'd do something really stupid, and I'd just be like, the rest of the car ride home.
That's a trauma.
We didn't talk about Sierra.
We did not.
Sierra is. Can't explain my love for Sierra. I love Sierra. I love the R&B, like,
Mhm.
I love the R&B girlies from this era. So, like, Beyonce, Sierra, Tink. I don't know if you guys know who Tink is. Brandy, Monica, like, all of them.
Growing up when my parents would like go to concerts all the time and just like take me with sometimes. So I have many very vivid memories of like driving home from concerts. I would be like 1 in the morning. I was like 8 or something. Just driving home. Like my mom would have music blasting, and I think at the time we would be in my dad's old cop car. Just
I can see my
Yeah,
future,
it's-
and it's bright. I want to be like your parents, like in that way.
I think it's
I'm
really.
dragging my children to concerts
I
constantly.
think it's really funny, like our kind of era of kid, like us, how we
Mhm.
grew up, because we kind of grew up
On the last brink
like
of it
the
all.
last
yeah.
break of it all. So depending on who your parents were, you were experiencing different things.
Yeah,
like,
true.
I feel like all of us, like our parents were listening to that music, so like
Yeah.
we
Mhm.
thoroughly like experienced that. But
Mhm.
if your parents didn't, then you have like you kind of I don't know how
You, like,
to
missed
explain
out.
it.
If your
Yeah.
parents weren't listening to that music, they were listening to like the stuff that their parents were listening to.
Classic
So it
rock.
was classic rock. And so I also have like memories of that as well from both my mom and my dad listening to like classic rock. And then I was around my grandparents a lot as a child. So I've kind of just like gained like my music taste is so broad because of them, because of my grandparents, because of my parents, and then because of my sister, because she was a teenager in this type of like time. So I kind of have taken all that, and and I enjoy all of that music, and so
Yeah.
I took all that, and that's why I like and appreciate so many different types of music, because I grew up around all of it, around people that have big appreciation for music, and I'm like so thankful for that.
I feel like as a kid, if you were exposed to like a bunch of different genres of music, you just like have a better appreciation for more types of music. 'Cause,
That's
like if
true.
you're very sheltered as a child, it, like
Oh,
only not
yeah.
sheltered, but like you only
Yeah.
listen to one type of music.
Right.
Like you're just gonna listen to that for the rest of your life and not like a lot of other stuff. Because like I was saying, like the music you listen to for the rest of your life is the stuff you listen to like as a teenager and like young adult.
That's
So-
yeah, that's true.
So I think I'm gonna be stuck listening to Limp Bizkit for the rest of my life.
Creed.
And Creed.
Yeah, I feel like, and yeah, we were kind of like, we were just raised in that last, like,
Yeah.
part. And, like, we had to think, like, this was the era where it was, like, Paris Hilton, Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, out every weekend.
Yeah.
The paparazzi were taking photos of
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
The bling ring. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, you
my-
keep talking about this.
Listen, I love the bling ring. Me and my mom talk about this all the time. Like, I feel like that was the era I should have been raised. Like, that is literally, oh my gosh.
Popped out like 7 years earlier.
Yeah.
I was like, you couldn't have had me like 7 years earlier, like, but that was like the most iconic time, I feel like, and like pop
Yeah.
genre and like
Definitely in pop. Yeah. I
it
feel
was,
like
so iconic.
I feel like most people have like a specific decade or just like era that they wish that they were born in.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like crazy to think that like our children might be like, oh yeah, I wish I was a teenager when
Yes.
you were a teenager, Mom. No.
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 Well, that's
Like,
what I was thinking.
but at the
I
same
was-
time,
Aspen just tried to break the computer. If you could tell.
I didn't mean to.
but
It hit me. It hit me.
Yeah, it did hit me.
at the same time with that though, I feel like that's how like the like other generations and eras feel like too, because like I don't know, there's something wrong with all of it. But like yeah. Oh,
Yeah, the
go
topic is
ahead.
sick.
Yep.
Okay. So, I read this actual article called False Nostalgia, where everyone yearns for when they were younger because they think that is the best time. Yes, I'm bringing up AP Seminar. So,
Wow, you guys are learning stuff.
I am learning, kind of.
I'm learning. Yes.
I am absorbing the information in my prefrontal cortex. So
Okay.
basically,
I'm learning, Super Nintendo Chalmers.
so people yearn for when they were younger because it was a time where you had less worries, and a lot of people say that like the 90s were the best time, the 80s or the 70s, because that was when they grew up and that's when you had
Yeah.
the least amount of worries in your life. This is when just you were focused on just living and not worrying about like taxes.
That's true.
But I think what's so crazy is that like eventually like we're gonna be listening to music like I just know that I'm gonna have a moment in time where I'm gonna be listening to a Sabrina Carpenter song or something.
Oh my
like
god,
that.
I'm gonna get nostalgia and I'm gonna be
And my
like,
kids are gonna be like, why are you like
Yeah.
what is up with
Why are you
doing this
crying?
old music?
Yeah.
Like I just vividly remember like whenever like my mom loved Michael Jackson and Prince.
yeah,
They
yes.
My dad
Yes.
loved.
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
But
Jackson.
I vividly remember, like, when I was younger, they would put Michael Jackson and Prince on, and I'd be like, not this again. Like,
Yeah.
I literally just, like, want to
Yeah.
slam my
Yeah.
head into a wall.
Yeah.
It would be with
But now that
Radiohead.
I'm older, whenever Michael Jackson or Prince comes on, I'm like, oh
I'm
my
like, this
gosh.
is it,
like,
yeah.
This makes
Wave of nostalgia.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my gosh.
That was
Yeah.
me with it was the entire The Bends album, because that was my mom's favorite Radiohead album growing up, and I'm like, mother, turn this off, like put on
Not
like
My mom
Yeah,
listened to
yeah.
like Daughtry and stuff too, but also like Pearl Jam, Alanis Morissette. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like what your parents listen to definitely shapes like what you listen to now, even if it's not like exactly what you
I've
listen
talked
to.
about this before.
My dad got me in Three Doors Down.
Yeah.
take all four of us for example, like take what your parents listen to, just make that's literally what like
I've talked
Yeah.
about this before, but, like, I was raised, like, in the church.
Yeah,
So
you've
something
talked
else
about that.
I like grew up listening to is like 2000s, like I would say 2000s Black Christian music. So like Kirk Franklin,
It's a super niche genre.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary, like it's a very niche genre of music that I listen to. But I like Sundays were for cleaning in my house. So
Yeah.
if before we were going to church, my mom was up and my grandma was up because I lived with my grandma for like the first like 4 years of my life. We were up and they were like playing, like I can just remember like Kirk Franklin was playing in the background and I would wake up to Kirk Franklin playing. Can I speak? Playing.
Yeah.
And so
You
it's
got
like
it.
such like whenever I hear Kirk Franklin or Mary or like just specific songs that you guys probably wouldn't know because it's such a niche.
Yeah.
It's a
probably
very
not.
niche genre. Like that's what I get taken back to. So I get so
Right.
much nostalgia when listening to like that as well. Like I get so much nostalgia.
yeah, I get nostalgia from like specifically like 80s and 90s female ska, because like that's just what my dad, like he just gave me those CDs, so like that's just what I was listening to when I was in like elementary and middle school.
That sounds like what he didn't want anymore.
Okay, this is way too far for the 2000s, but I was just thinking about this because I was thinking about like being in my dad's car while he was like blasting music, and I also have vivid memories of being in my dad's car while he was blasting Fetty Wap.
Yeah.
Wonders you-
Yeah, and I literally like just felt like I was gonna fly through the roof. Like that's like what it felt like. But I always just laugh thinking about it, which this is like way too off, but that's kind of what it reminds me of too. But I feel like a lot of like my childhood is kind of like the music is so like intertwined that like I don't really see it as like a specific era because my mom and my dad were listening to it way after the 2000s. Like they never stopped listening to it, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I feel like those are like, for at least for my parents, I know they're a little bit older than yours. It it was like their formative years, I guess.
Mhm.
It's like that 95 to 05. That's when they were like figuring life out.
Mhm.
Like they bought their first house together in 05. They got
Mhm.
married in 05. That's like the boom. And I feel like their music taste didn't really. They kept that part of
Mhm.
it. It did change and added things, but that central Y2K part was always there, and I don't think it's ever going to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, because my mom bought her first house in like 2009. So that's kind of like I think my mom is a little bit younger than your parents, but that was like
Because mine are in their 50s.
my mom is like just turned 50.
Yeah.
So
We're
it's
still
just
like 41, 42.
it's really funny thinking.
Aren't you lucky that my back problems yet?
I'm
It's not
sorry.
it's the hip problems.
I think it's like so funny because growing up like in this area, this is like a very this is a predominantly white area. So like my parents weren't listening to music that like my other friends were listening to. So it was really different like getting in the car like with my like friends and their moms was playing like Creed or Green Day or something like that, and I was like,
What is
I was,
this?
I was just like, what in the world is this? Because like I grew up listening to Tupac, and I'm sure when they got in the car with me, they felt the same thing.
Yeah.
I remember growing